Hello everybody, I am here to talk about FAIREST by Marissa Meyer, and this is book 3.5 in the Lunar Chronicles if you didn't know. So if you've been wanting to pick up this series, you should, because it's fantastic. Don't start with this book, even though it's supposed to be like set back. Definitely start with Cinder and then go through like normal, Scarlet, Cress, and then this book. This is kind of like the bridge book in between Cress and Winter. So I think it's supposed to like help us just get over this wait for Winter. But I think it kind of made it worse because, at the end there's actually the first 3 chapters of Winter, and I read them, and now I'm just, I just want it to be here now. I wish this was Winter. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was awesome, just like the rest. I loved getting to see Levana's backstory and just what makes her tick. Really, just the psychoness, where it all came from, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I wish it was a little longer, but originally I thought this was supposed to be just like an ebook, so like 100 pages or less or so. So I really can't complain that it's over 200 pages. But it did go by really fast. I read it in like one sitting. If you didn't know, this is about Levana, who, it's like back when she's little, and then that she's like a princess, and then the queen ultimately. I am going to talk about this, so it's going to spoil this series, and it's going to spoil this book. So pretty much just make sure you've read all 4 of these books if you're staying, because I don't want to ruin it for you. So, Levana, I understand that she has been through a lot, and she is scarred, not just on the outside, but the inside. And I know that she's never really felt loved. I know that she doesn't have a great family. I understand she doesn't really have friends, but that still doesn't explain away and justify her crazy actions. This chick, no. Like, when she was super little, I was just cringing, and I couldn't believe that her sister burned her. And so that's why she's so crazy about these glamours. I didn't know if she was just that vain and she just had to look perfect all the time, and she's like, using her glamour and like controlling others and blah blah blah. But this chick, okay, when she was crushing on, is it Everett? Maybe that's not how you say it, but that's what I've been calling him. When she was crushing on him, and then you find out he's married and he's gonna have a little girl, and it just hits you, and you realize, oh my gosh, Levana's gonna do something to this woman, Solstice, and she's gonna marry him somehow, and that's gonna be Winter. And I was freaking out. I didn't understand how it was gonna happen, because Everett obviously was completely in love with Solstice, and I knew like if Levana killed her, he would not love Levana at all. It was really sad that she, died. And it was nice that Levana took him to her and like didn't, disobeyed her sister, the queen, to take him. But really, she was like making a move on him at the hospital after his wife just died. And she's like, oh, he's so honorable. And you crazy. His wife just died. Like, his baby girl's there. Like, she is just, I was embarrassed for her, and I pitied her, because it's like, really, she doesn't have any friends that she has to just cling, like she has these fantasies about him that are not going to happen, and it's just sad. It's pathetic. And whenever she starts controlling him, I guess that this girl has just no pride at all, because she didn't care that she had to control him for every single little kiss. I think she honestly thought that he really loved her and that he was just acting like he didn't or something. She's crazy. I felt so bad for Everett. Like, I honestly just think that he was a super unlucky guy, and it just sucks for him, but I don't think he could have gotten out of it. Like, I think he did everything right. I think if he would have refused her or ran away or something, I still think that he could have died, or I don't know if she would have actually sent them to kill him, but I feel like one way or another he would have died. And I feel like it's not like he could be a jerk to her. I mean, she was the princess, and at one point she was even, the queen stepping in for her sister. I just felt really bad for him. I mean, he goes from being married to this beautiful woman, Solstice, who is beautiful inside and out, and she's so lovely, and they make this beautiful daughter together. And then Levana, and I'm not saying that just because she's like the scarred girl, because that's not clearly what I am saying at all. She is evil on the inside. Like, she is just, and then when she was talking, like, oh, I'll never be like my sister, and if I was queen, I would do this and this. Really, Levana? Reading these other books, we know obviously how Levana turns out. So reading that, you're just like rolling your eyes like, seriously, girl? You are the worst queen. Okay, so yeah, she pays attention to things that her sister did not. What was her sister's name even? Charney or something? Cinder's mom kind of had a weird name. I understand that her sister was just more worried about like parties and boys and stuff. At least she had the council that was kind of helping her, whereas Levana just kind of disregarded everything they said and she just thought that she knew everything. And yes, I understand that at least she cared about this stuff, but she was like running them to the ground. Like when they're trying to explain to her, like, we don't have these resources, we're gonna run out, Luna cannot sustain this. And she just like kept going through, like, I don't even care. Like, she was not a good queen. Now, some of you are gonna argue that her sister obviously was not perfect because she burned her little sister when she was like 6 years old in a fireplace. And she even cut off her seamstress's feet because she said that, you know, what else does she have to do? If she doesn't have feet, then she could just sit around all day and make me beautiful dresses. Yeah, she had issues as well. But I honestly think that a lot of that she would have outgrown, and I think that she could have become a really, not a great queen, but I feel like not as bad as Levana, maybe. I started having these feelings whenever she was pregnant and whenever she had Princess Celine or Cinder, and she started acting very motherly, and like when she would feed her, and she found out later she kept the little bassinet by her bed, and she did all these things that most queens would not do. They would just shove the baby off to the nanny, and it just kind of showed me that maybe this chick was growing up, and maybe she could have become a fairly decent woman, unlike Levana. And it was sad, like, when the kids didn't like her, like they were sensing like the evil or something. Levana said it's because maybe they couldn't see glamours. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that was partially true, but I think they could just sense that she was just like this evil aunt or evil stepmother, and they're just like, oh my gosh, get me out of this chick's hands. I still pitied her, but again, it didn't make me like I didn't excuse her actions. Like, I pitied her for a very short time, and then that was kind of gone, and I was like, listen, I don't care, you know, that you don't have friends. You don't kill your tiny little niece, and you don't do this, and you don't do this, and it doesn't excuse her actions. I think most of you would agree that one of the worst parts was like hearing her plot to kill Princess Celine or Cinder, and you just, you know what's gonna happen. But at first she's acting all like, oh, well, I don't want her to feel any pain. I want it to be really fast. And then she ends up burning her alive. Yeah, because that wasn't painful at all for her. And that's what happened. Like, she was burned. So you would think that she would never wish that on someone else. And she wasn't even burned to death. She was just burned and she survived. Yet she burns her niece to death so that she can be queen. And the nanny. She kills the nanny too. Like, what is wrong with you? And then people are whispering that, you know, it's suspicious. Like, why did she go get Winter when any other time she would have just had the nanny take Winter to the doctor? And it was just, I did like to hear about all these other characters that we've, you know, already learned about, like hearing how Winter and Jason and Celine got to grow up together, and Dr. Ireland, or however you say his name, and like his wife, and Cress, their little girl who was the shell, Sybil, and how she kind of, you know, went through the ranks. It was super interesting to hear Levana's sister talk about when she was pregnant about Earth and the Emperor, and how she was talking about how her daughter could marry like the Emperor's son and like alliances, and I was like, oh my gosh, Kai and Cinder! Like, it's so weird to hear her talking about them, like how it's so ironic that Cinder's mom actually already kind of thought of their marriage like before. It's just crazy. There was a really sweet part when Winter was with her father and they're reading a book, and she's like, you know, why does the prince always have to save the princess? Like, why isn't it a doctor or someone? And it made me think of Dr. Ireland and Cinder and how he saved Princess Celine. And then she was talking about how a princess should just save herself, and that's actually like what Cinder's doing now. Cinder's kind of saving herself. So that was really sweet. And it was sad to learn like, remember in the end of Crest how Winter has those candies to learn that her father was the one that had been giving those to her. And just, I felt her dad, like, he was such a great guy, he was such a great father. And again, I feel so bad for him. Like, I just, oh, that poor man. And then, okay, I didn't mention the fact that Levana was glamoring herself to look like Solstice. That is so creepy. Everett must have been just so, like, oh, it's so sad. Not only did he lose his wife, and he's been forced to marry this, like, evil princess, later queen, but then she, like, steals his wife's face. She's so stalkerish and creepy. And then she sets up to assassinate him, and he jumps up to protect her because she is still his queen, and even though, of course, he doesn't know the assassin's for him, he thinks it's for the queen, so he dies trying to protect her. And you just want to scream at him, like, just stop, just, like, run away, like, don't protect her, she is just trying to get you murdered. And I know I've been rambling a lot, but I just have a lot of feelings about this little bitty book. I did really like to learn, every little thing that we learned about Winter was just great. I was surprised that we didn't get the part where she actually scars Winter's face. I mean, it's not like I was looking forward to reading that, but I was expecting that to be in this. But the last thing I will say is, why do you guys think that she scarred Winter's face? Because I think that it goes beyond just that Winter was so beautiful. I think that every time she looked at Winter's face, she, like, sees Everett and Solstice, and she sees the man that Levana always loved, but he never loved her. And I think that it just, like, kills her. And I think sometimes she feels guilty that she killed him. And I think that she sees Solstice and she just gets angry that she never really could beat this woman who was just this simple woman that she could never beat. And I think it was more than just Winter so beautiful. I really, after reading these first 3 chapters of Winter, I cannot wait to read Winter. I hope that Winter and Cinder just team up together, and that Princess Celine and Princess Winter together take her down, because Levana has taken so much from both of them, and I want to see them take her down. You guys should let me know what you think of this book. If you thought that, like, if your opinions changed on Levana, if you agree with what I said, let me know what you think is going to happen in Winter. I cannot wait to read it and then discuss it with you guys. It's going to be so fantastic. Well, that's all I have. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.